Today on Community Cooking, we have a special guest with us, the host of CitiCABLE's Canine Corner, Riannon Trutanich. She's here with us to make a home-cooked holiday meal. We've got applesauce meatloaf and balsamic Brussels sprouts on the menu. You won't want to miss it. We're cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community, so grab a seat and relax. We have another great meal for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hi and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host Maria Prekeges and I'm so excited today. We have CitiCABLE's own Riannon Trutanich.
Hi.
I'm so psyched you're here. You host Canine Corner.
I do.
Everything animal, doggy related.
Everything. We are on daily at 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. here on CitiCABLE. And we cover everything from dog adoptions to local dog businesses to really anything any pet owner would want to know. So pet owners and animal lovers should definitely check it out.
I was going to say I like it even though I don't have a pet because I travel a bit. I love it because it makes me feel like I almost do. Almost. Well, our producer tells me you're quite the Martha Stewart. You craft, you cook, you bake, you know, take care of animals. What don't you do?
You are too kind. I do. I love it all.
Just what I heard, you know.
I love being in the kitchen, and I love making food that's also pretty and presentable, and it's, you know, like edible art in a way.
I love it. Well, and we have art going on in the studio. It's all about the holidays. One of my favorite times of the year. I know this recipe you can make anytime, but why is this such a great holiday meal?
You know, it really is because you know, during the winter you want something kind of warm, you want something that brings you comfort, and what is more comforting than meatloaf?
Well, applesauce meatloaf.
Yes, it is. It's very moist, as you will see hopefully later on, but it's really moist and it's really something nice where, you know, if you're having people over, you can whip it up really fast, or if, you know, you're just at home with your family and you're having holiday movie night, you know, you can make this and still have quality time, you know, with your kids and your family. So.
Well, and you don't have a ton of ingredients, so thank you. I love that. Later on, we'll be making some roasted balsamic Brussels sprouts, but you got to stand by for that. First off, tell me the ingredients that go in the meatloaf.
Like you said, it's really not a lot. We have celery, onion, applesauce, of course, an integral ingredient to applesauce meatloaf, breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, Dijon-style mustard, and an egg. So that's really all it is.
And of course, some fresh ground beef.
Yes, of course. How could I forget?
The main ingredient
How could I
of the
forget?
show, the star of the show. And you do something a little different. You're going to have to keep tuning in here to see that at the very end when we create the meatloaf. But what do we want to start with?
So I'm going to start by just hopefully cracking and beating
one egg.
One egg.
So I do know the trick. If you get shells in it, you use the egg half, and it's a magnet.
I have heard that.
Sucks it out. It works because I usually get eggshells.
I do too, but I didn't this time, thankfully. So I'm just beating this, and if you want to pass me that bowl over there, we can get things going.
And this is where all the magic happens.
Yeah. So we'll just add this first, you know, since I have it.
Okay.
And if you want to grab that celery right there.
But it doesn't have a Bloody Mary to go with it. But I'll still eat it.
It doesn't. And you want to chop that up pretty finely, and if you pass me the onion, I will do the honors.
We made a deal. You get the onion. I cry. They say put a piece of bread in your mouth, whatever, but I used to live in a ski town, and guys would wear goggles in the kitchen.
That's a great idea. Goggles, it really is. And for the celery, you're only going to need about 1/4 of a cup.
Okay.
So,
and you want it pretty finely chopped, right?
Pretty finely, yeah. And for the onion here, I'm looking a couple tablespoons is all.
Oh, and look how you cut it. Oh, that's so easy.
Is it? I don't know.
I think so.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's a lot of pressure cooking, you know, cutting and chopping here. And
cutting and chopping and keeping all, you know, everything intact.
And fun fact is I am the dog lady. This is not doggy friendly. Because
well, I was going to say, this is for humans.
It is for humans. Dogs cannot eat onions, sadly.
Although I have had some homemade dog treats that I tasted, and they were pretty good.
I remember that. We had a good time.
I was going to say, I believe that was you, and it was really good. I told everyone, I hate dog treats. I started scratching and,
yeah.
howling at the moon and barking later. But, they're still delicious.
Just a little side effect.
Just a little. But that was fun.
So I'm just going to chop this up here.
Is that about a quarter cup? I don't know. A little more?
A little more.
We'll do a
little
little
crunch in there.
I like crunching my meatloaf. Now, you use ground beef. Could you use ground turkey or even ground chicken?
You can. You can. You are going to want it to be, the fat does help hold it together a little bit, but you totally can. It's also a fun recipe too because you can add a little bit more applesauce. You can kind of mix with the flavors. If you really like Dijon flavor, you can add a little bit more mustard. So it's really fun in that way. And this is something that I grew up making with my mom during the holidays. It was like one of those meals where it was like, oh my gosh, we're having applesauce meatloaf tonight.
It's the holidays. Well, and I think so much of cooking, I always say it, it's generational, it gets passed down. And when you could do that with your mom, and now you can share it with friends and family as well, is so special.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're Greek, so my sister-in-law, whenever she has a holiday party, asks for baklava, and I tell her, thanks so much, sorry I offered. Because that takes time. Unlike this, super easy.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of eyeball this here.
A little bit of onion. And, of course, the onions and celery. All the produce from the farmer's market here in Torrance is so good.
And smells so good. I mean, everything smells so fragrant. We'll add a little bit more. I like it.
I don't mind a little bit.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Well, then, don't
what
tell me
the
that.
Heck? What the heck? It's more stuff in the meatloaf. All right, and do I add the celery as well?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just adding it with my hand.
You know what? A girl of my own heart. I'm the same way.
Although the green holiday shirt looks good, but we might get something caught. Okay.
I'll actually pass you one of these for after you're done with that. Just throw it on in there.
And then these are now did you just cut up bread?
Whole wheat breadcrumbs. So I just ripped apart a couple slices of whole wheat bread. And, if you have a bread preference, you can add like a multigrain if you like a little bit more of like that nutty flavor and the crunch in there. But
and you have the whole piece of the bread. You didn't cut out the middle, which I like.
Yeah. And it's like when you're mixing it in, you'll see a lot of the crust kind of just goes away. It's like really cool to see, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
That's a good whole wheat bread. I always have to, sample everything as it goes in.
And you're putting the rest of that in. I'm just going to add our salt on in there.
A little bit of salt. Okay, how cute are these?
So festive.
Everything
so
festive.
And now we're adding in our half cup of applesauce.
Okay.
I use just the no sugar added, regular applesauce. You could add unsweetened, whatever you prefer. So.
Okay. And that, yum.
Right? Doesn't it just look like?
Yes, it's meatloaf. Used to be pork chops and applesauce. Now it's meatloaf and applesauce. I love it.
Exactly. Okay, and if you want to just add like a dash of pepper in there for me, well, I get our Dijon mustard on in.
Yum. I would never put applesauce and Dijon mustard. I would never put them together.
Right? But, it kind of gives you that nice balance of, like, sweet and tangy. It's a good, nice little mix. So I'm just going to mix this up before we add in the ground beef. So you want to mix this mixture first before you add your beef in, just to kind of get the consistency a little bit better. And
with your festive spatulas, you said your mother helped decorate a little, which is so fun.
She did, and I have to give credit where credit is due. I get all of my creativity and my skills in that department from her, 100%. So.
I love it. Is she just as crafty and likes to entertain?
Oh, more. Like, I grew up thinking that, like, all these snowmen in the kitchen were normal, but it's great, and it definitely makes for a lot of fun during the holiday season.
Oh, I start decorating in November, and my stuff stays up through well into January. Some people, whatever holiday you celebrate, stuff's down the next day. I'm like, oh no.
No, it takes so long to put up, and you want to make sure that you.
Yeah, you want to enjoy it.
So you can kind of see how our bread's starting to get mushy. You want to mix this for a bit while I grab the ground beef.
I'll let you get your hands dirty. Isn't that nice of her? She's so nice. I tell you.
I love coming to visit community cooking.
I know, we love it. And I loved your doggy treats, but I'm glad it's, a holiday
Yes, we're going to
meal.
take, you were such a good sport the last time I was here, so.
If it's edible and I know what goes in it, it's okay.
So with this, you're going to want to add about a pound. I have a little bit more than that here, so I'm kind of going to break it apart and hold a little bit back so it's not too much. Oh, that looks great.
I'll keep stirring while you add.
Add that in right there.
And it looks pretty darn lean.
It is. It's, I want to say this is about 10%. So it's got, but you'll see once, we cook it, it's still going to have like the juices and it's really some good flavor to it. I'm just going to go all in with fire. And for this portion, I have to say I do ditch the spatula.
I was going to say, yeah, that's.
So if you want me to
all you
get in there. And
I like to observe and learn. No, we always, growing up, my mother, as long as they were clean, she used them.
So I really want to mix in all those ingredients in there just so the loaf consistency is got a little bit of the different flavors.
Yeah, you don't want one section with all breadcrumbs and then the other
with Dijon mustard. No one wants to bite into
yeah.
that.
Well, and I like how you mixed all the ingredients first before adding the ground beef.
Yeah. And I must say the celery looks beautiful.
It adds color, which I love. I've made meatloaf before. I've added mushrooms of all things, but some people don't like mushrooms, so I only do it when I know.
You got a mushroom-friendly crowd.
Exactly. Mushroom-friendly crowd. They're not always, available.
All right, so this is looking pretty good.
Oh, I love it.
I kind of like to get it like semi in a loaf shape when it's in the bowl because, you want it to look nice too.
Oh, of course. Well, and I like that some people use a loaf pan, but I like your round cake pan we're using.
For this meatloaf, I think that I've made it in all different types of pans, but I think that the round one really works best, as you'll see when we put that circle in the middle for our sauce.
See, that's the little
the
little tidbit that's
did I give it away? I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. People are gonna see it.
I'm too excited.
I know. I'm like, you're doing what with the meatloaf? But I trust you.
So now I'm going to transfer this on over to here.
Into the round cake pan. Look at that. Oh, see, it's already almost all molded.
Thank you.
I love it.
So what I'm going to do is I don't really want it to be touching the sides because it's going to spread a little bit as it cooks. Plus it, and you can double the recipe too if you have a bigger pan. I just, have this one, so.
No, that's the standardized
make it
cake pan. All right, so it's a little bit away from the edges.
And now I'm going to take just a ladle.
Little ladle?
And make a little depression in here. I don't want to hit the bottom.
Okay.
I just kind of want to, I still want there to be.
A little meat on the bottom?
Yeah.
But getting it close.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of pull it out on the side so there's a.
It's a big meatloaf donut.
Exactly. I promise it will look more appetizing.
No, I totally trust you. It's so cool to learn different ways to put a twist on everything, especially meatloaf.
So I'm just going to leave this here for a minute. And I'm going to pick up the remaining amount of our applesauce, which is about a cup. I'm going to mix in another teaspoon of
Dijon. Pardon me, do you have any Dijon mustard? Accent's not my thing, obviously. Don't give up your day job, Maria.
I'm going to use this so I don't drop the vinegar container. But I just have a little white wine vinegar here.
So applesauce, Dijon.
Just add a little bit on in.
Give it a little twang. You said white wine vinegar.
Mm-hmm. And brown sugar.
Brown sugar in her cute little tree ramekin.
Is it not the holidays if anything you're using isn't, the holiday?
Well, like you said, it takes a long time, and over the years you get stuff, and you want to use it.
Exactly. And the great thing about this, you can mix it right in your little measuring cup, which is
great.
Awesome.
The less dishes, the better. Although at my house, that's someone else's job. I cook, I can clean, but if someone else offers, I put my feet on the couch and let them go for it.
I just want to mix that up really, really well.
Oh, I can smell the vinegar and the apple all combined. Yum.
It's sweet, it's salty, it's got a lot going on, but I promise it's good.
It does.
So I'm just going to put this to the side now, and I'm going to come back here and just make sure I have like the pan showing a little bit.
Yeah, so you want to cover it.
You can totally fix that, As long as you haven't baked it, you're good. So you can add to a little bit. I'm going to take this.
And I'm just going to pour it right in.
Right in there. And I don't want it to overflow, so I'm not going to pour it all in. I'm actually going to reserve this and heat it up, and you can use it as like extra dipping sauce. So.
Okay, this
and that's ready
is
to
the
go.
most beautiful ground beef. Look at that.
It just shows you can make any food fun and exciting and pretty, or
no,
kind
it
of
is.
pretty.
I was like, this is the best raw beef I've ever seen. I'm going to stick this in the oven, and we have one cooking up because you're so good. I mean, it looks gorgeous. Look at this. How fun. Okay, I'm not going to taste it. I'm going to wait. We're going to take a quick break as I covet the meatloaf. And when we come back, balsamic roasted Brussels sprouts. Say that 5 times fast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Community Cooking.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Maria Prekeges, with my good friend and co-worker here at CitiCABLE. If she looks familiar, folks, well, that's because she is the host of CitiCABLE's Canine Corner, Riannon Trutanich. I love these intros. You deserve all the credit because you're not only the dog, everything dog person.
Thank you.
But you're a great cook and the hostess with the mostest, and you make fun things. We just made meatloaf.
Applesauce meatloaf.
With a big thing of applesauce in the
Yes.
middle. I'm like, what?
Which, in my opinion, is the way that meatloaf should be eaten at all times.
I mean, it looks so great. I can't wait to taste, but we have more work to do before I can do that.
We do. We have the perfect companion to the applesauce meatloaf, which is the balsamic roasted Brussels sprouts. This is kind of a recipe that I would make at holidays, and then it kind of morphed into like a good weeknight recipe. But it really is a nice side dish to anything, especially during like the winter season. It's absolutely wonderful. So
I love it. And this whole holiday meal, I would eat the meatloaf and Brussels sprouts anytime.
Me too.
But since we're all festive, and I have to say, these Brussels sprouts, these are the largest Brussels sprouts I've ever seen.
you.
Farmer's Market, I'm assuming?
Of course.
Duh.
Where else?
So ingredients, not a lot of them, which I love.
We have some olive oil here. We have salt and pepper over by you over there, some balsamic vinegar that we'll put on at the end, and then we actually even have some finishing salt to make it look pretty and if you like a lot of salt. So we'll add that in too.
I love it. And Brussels sprouts are so good for you. I actually eat them raw. It grosses people out, but I do.
That is fascinating and frightening and kind of amazing.
Well, it's like cabbage to me.
But do people eat cabbage raw? They just like bite into it?
Well, for salads,
Oh yeah,
maybe.
for salads, yeah.
Or, yeah, I haven't bitten into it, but now you know.
I just
eat
picture
it like an
you,
apple.
Yes, that's how I picture you eating
She
it.
knows me well.
So how we're gonna get started? If you want to pass me that bowl over there.
The big bowl.
The big bowl.
You get the big bowl.
And you are going to help me cut some Brussels sprouts.
Perfect. And even though they're big, you have a few cut up, but you just.
We do. So those are some that I actually pre-cut for us. So because I like a lot of Brussels sprouts.
I know.
Okay, now I feel like I have to try.
It just tastes like cabbage.
Does it?
I think you would think it'd be more bitter. People are
You
like,
would.
but it's not that bitter.
No,
They're much better roasted, by the way, but when I'm cutting them at home,
I can't finish it like you
I
did.
know. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm setting it aside.
I'm just going to place this to the side now.
It's okay.
But if you want to go ahead and dump those pre-cut ones right into our
Okay.
bowl, and then we'll be cutting those and putting them in there as well.
Perfect. Do not try that at home, people. Don't blame me if it tastes bitter and you don't like them raw.
So we're just going to be taking Brussels sprout like this, and I'm a lefty, so I'm going to be working a little
gosh, you
opposite.
are.
But we'll just cut off the bottom
Okay.
and slice them in half. If you prefer, you can slice them in fourths. I go with the half, and they roast really well, and all the flavors really get in there.
They
so.
do. See, I always cut them super small because I think they're going to take longer
They really don't.
to cook, but they don't.
And if you have Brussels sprouts of different sizes, oddly, somehow, they really cook evenly. So I have cooked really large ones like this with smaller ones,
Yeah.
and you're always looking in about 40 minutes. So not too bad.
So make it super easy because there aren't a lot of items to this recipe, a lot of ingredients, I should say, but it's just the cook time.
Yeah, and what's great too is that if you are an early riser and you want to make these for dinner, you can actually cut them just like this, get them with their little marinade on, put them in a Ziploc bag, shake it up, stick them in the fridge,
yum.
forget about them, and they're ready to go to bake them when you get home from work.
Cut them up with your coffee in the morning. Brussels sprout and coffee talk. That's what you need. But that's true. And then the marinade sits on them a little longer, so I'm imagining it gets a little more infused.
Definitely. It's really good.
And the nice thing about Brussels sprouts, you really don't waste a lot of it.
And I add in, like a lot of people take off those, well, snacks as you call them, but
Yes.
those little loose edges. I throw them in because they get really crispy and they make a nice kind of like snack, or it adds a little bit more crunch too to the Brussels sprout. So it's really good.
I've seen recipes where I don't have the patience, but they take all of it apart and they're just the little crunchies.
That's good too.
See, I tell ya.
And these, like Brussels sprouts, like they get a bad reputation.
They do.
And they're delicious. So we're here to change that a little bit.
You know, when we were little, I think, no offense to our mothers, but I don't know if they knew how to season them, so they were just bland. So I used to hide them in my milk. Kids, don't do that. Eat them, because now they're good.
That is so funny.
But I used to, because then you could only drink half your milk, and you add the last few. But now I love them. They're like one of my favorite vegetables.
So funny.
I know. Hide them in your milk. You get all the bad habits from me.
So here I just have some olive oil. That was close.
I know. I thought you might be going down,
It's a little
folks.
slippery. I'm just going to drizzle some over the top. And I do this two ways. I put it all in at once, or I go once around, and if I don't like how it's looking and it's not looking oily enough, I add more. But really up to you.
Well, you do need a little, for
Well,
sure.
I add the pepper. You can go ahead and shake some salt in there.
I always do over my shoulder first for good luck, you know.
Love that.
It's supposed to be when you spill it, but
Yeah, but doing, you know,
I
it's
like
just
all the
fun.
luck. I like all the luck I can get.
So I like a lot of pepper.
I do too.
But I think we're going to have to go around twice. I'm going to bring this on over.
Yeah, that's a lot of Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. And you can do this the way I'm doing it here in the bowl. You can also do it in like a big gallon Ziploc bag.
Oh, okay.
And just shake it. That's more fun. But
Shake, shake, you get your dancing in.
I thought this might be a little bit
we like-
easier.
You
I don't
know, it's our holiday show, so
Yes.
we like to be all
Yes.
all
Very
proper. But they do
And-
mix well.
They do. I mean, you really think like, uh-oh, like that wasn't a lot or that wasn't
Yeah,
enough.
they're going to be
but
flying out of the bowl. But
Yeah. Like I said, bad reputation, the Brussels sprouts.
I tell you, they are so good. I've convinced my nieces and nephews, because I've made different types. They'll love this as well. But they're like, Brussels sprouts? What? I said, yes.
They are too. I think roasted is really great because they don't get that like sogginess. Like there's nothing worse like when you bite into one and it's just chewy and soggy and
No, you want them
icky.
as
Add
crispy
some more.
yet still done.
And the way I do this is just adding as I go to kind of see. I like to see the pepper on them. I like to see the salt, or not really see the salt, but I like to kind of see the texture to it.
Yeah.
And I like to see them sort of glistening with the oil. So I'm going to add a little bit more here. But again, if you are trying to cut back on certain things, you can totally cut back on the salt, cut back on the oil. It's really up to you, which is the great thing about these.
Do you know what I've used before?
What?
Now they've come out with some really good spray olive oils for like baking and cooking. And to cut down, I use a little olive oil, and then when I put them on the pan, I give them a little extra spray.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it actually works. You have to get the good stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, they have some that basically is just olive oil and it sprays out super nice.
Ooh, add a little bit more pepper here.
You can add all the
I
pepper.
I like my pepper.
I do too.
All right. So once you kind of get these all coated nicely and they're looking like they're ready to be edible. Well, they already do to you, so I don't.
I know. I'm like, but we will. We will roast them in the
Yes,
oven.
we promise. I'm going to go ahead and dump them out on the pan here.
I'll hold the
you.
pan. Look at Brussels Malloy there. That's a lot of Brussels sprouts. Oh, yum though. Look at, they're pretty and glistening.
Aren't they? They really, I mean, festive. Very shiny. Okay, so now that we have them there, if you want to just sprinkle some of the finishing salt on.
Oh, the finishing salt. That I can do. Because you finish with the finishing salt, don't you know?
Well, we have one more. And I used to never make the Brussels sprouts with balsamic vinegar, but I thought I'd give it a try one time, and I did. Off the charts. So good. I love my vinegar, so
I do too.
I just kind of go like back and forth a little bit and just drizzle it on. Again, totally up to you. If you like a lot, go for a lot. If you don't, don't. But there you go.
Oh, so beautiful.
And you can also add more vinegar while you're cooking. So.
Okay, because they do take about 40 minutes. You have some in the oven.
We do.
That I'm going to grab because they smell so good. Oh, I'll swap you out. Look at those.
And you see there's some of those like
Oh,
crunchies
that's
on there.
gorgeous.
And I really like, I like the crunchy side of it, like those little like burnt pieces.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah,
I find those are the best.
Okay, I'm going to wait to taste. But
And,
yes.
And you'll notice like those Brussels sprouts too, a lot of them were the same size as that we just put in. So they do shrink a little bit when they're cooking, but.
Oh, they smell so good. Okay, applesauce meatloaf and balsamic roasted Brussels sprouts. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, my favorite part, tasting. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking.
Yes, but see, you don't have a college degree.
Well, no, but
Okay,
I can...
well,
Wait. Before you skip over me, can you at least hear me out? No, I do not have a college degree, but I've been working 2 jobs since the age of 18. I've been doing internships while raising my little brother, and any moment that I can spare, I'm studying, just trying to better myself. Okay, I'm ready for this.
wow. I'd love to hear more.
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. All right, darling, my favorite part.
Mine too.
Tasting. I'm going to do the applesauce meatloaf.
Okay.
I'm going to take a little bit of that and add a little bit of extra applesauce with it.
Good choice.
Okay. The little bit of crunch with the onion and celery makes it great, but the flavors all infused together. And the applesauce, are you kidding me? That is so yummy. All right, now I might as well eat a cooked Brussels sprout since we're here.
And my expert tip, adding a little applesauce on your Brussels sprouts.
I was just going to say, okay, they're the perfect crunchiness and the perfect balsamic vinegar. You don't need anything else. Because I could take the whole deal of balsamic vinegar, but I think it overpowers it sometimes.
Me too.
That is so yummy.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to finish this in a moment, but I guess we should finish the show. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I always love visiting.
It's so much fun, and thank you for making human treats.
Of course, anytime. Next time we'll do dog treats again.
I'll eat them. I'll eat whatever you cook. And happy holidays to you.
You and your family as well.
Thank you. And to all of you, happy holidays from our entire crew, Riannon and myself. And don't forget, Canine Corner.
12 p.m. and 8 p.m. on CitiCABLE every day.
I love it. And remember, we really do have some of the best chefs right here in our community for dog food and regular. I love it. We'll see you next time on Community Cooking. Have a great season.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive. And don't forget, you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.